Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune into our Railbookers webinar. My name is Chris David. I'm the Vice President of Sales, and I'm going to be your host for today's webinar. Today, we're going to be looking at our top most popular vacations booking currently for 2023. To kick things off, let's take a quick look at what we're going to be covering in the webinar broadly, the content for today's presentation. I'm going to give you a little bit of a sense of the different kinds of vacations available that you can book traveling by train independently with Railbookers. We're going to look at the accommodations as well and the variety of different hotels and how you can have flexibility with your hotels on a Railbookers itinerary. I'm going to also go into the aspect of Railbookers that allows you to book everything in one place, all the various components of your independent journey, the rail, the transportation by rail, the hotels, the sightseeing, and all of those things, all bookable and available from Railbookers to deal with in one phone call, as well as how we take the complexity out of planning and booking a vacation with rail transportation. Let me start off by giving you a quick introduction to our company. We're called the Railbookers Group, and under that corporate umbrella, we have two different brands, Amtrak Vacations and Railbookers. The really clear separation here is that in the US, we're the official tour operator for Amtrak. So we have a wide portfolio of vacations and itineraries going throughout the lower 48 US states, traveling by rail with Amtrak into the national parks and other great destinations. Railbookers is our global brand where you will find a very comprehensive collection of independent rail vacations going throughout Europe, Canada, Alaska, and worldwide. One of the great benefits that we can offer at Railbookers is the ability to book rail vacations 2 years in advance. When you're booking trains in Europe, typically the ticketing only opens for any given segment about 2 or 3 months prior to departure. So that limits you to a very short time window before your departure in order to make those arrangements for the trains. We at Railbookers allow you or your travel agent on your behalf to make and confirm all of these train bookings a full 2 years ahead of your travel. We work directly with the train operators, Deutsche Bahn and Trenitalia, SNCF, Eurostar, all of these European train companies. We have direct access to their inventory, and so we have that unique ability which no other supplier has or travel tour operator has to be able to book those trains so far in advance. A lot of travelers have found that working with us is really the best way to put together, to plan an independent journey where you do have trains as your main transportation. Here are some of the reasons why it's so easy to work with us at Railbookers. First off, we have the expertise to advise you on everything rail related, the timetables, the schedules. So whether it's you or your travel advisor planning your journey, we can serve as that counselor, that expert advisor on everything rail related. We have a huge selection of cruise extensions. So if you're looking to do something in conjunction with a cruise or river cruise, we have lots of programs that connect directly with the river and ocean ports throughout Europe. We give you the flexibility to choose 3, 4, and 5-star hotels of all different styles on every night of your trip, that ability to book 2 years in advance, a single place to piece together all the components of your trip. So really, when it comes to rail or anything that involves trains, what other companies might find a little bit outside of their comfort zone is easy for us because it's our unique specialty. We're a global company at Railbookers. We have staff all over the world to provide 24-hour emergency support in destination when you're traveling with us. Our program at Railbookers is not just a rail ticket, although our name kind of gives that impression that we book rail. That's not all we do. We're absolutely an expert with trains. We also do hotels, sightseeing, ferries, and all the other components of any independent journey that you're planning in Europe or North America. Our itineraries also are completely flexible and customizable. So when you look on our website and you see that wide selection of itineraries, bear in mind those are all really just suggested itineraries. They can be customized by adding or removing destinations or additional train journeys, and uh, customizing all the components, the accommodation on the trains and in hotels and the sightseeing to meet your specific requirements. When it comes to hotels, we have that 3, 4, and 5-star option on every night of your trip, so you can really customize to suit your travel style and your budget. Then you have the European Rail Network map. Quite a confusing picture, and it's hard to plan a journey throughout Europe with those different rail operators. And this is where we come in at Railbookers, that expert partner for yourself or your travel advisor to seamlessly piece together that independent journey with the rail segments. I want to mention a little bit about luxury rail, because this is such a great option for a bucket list trip if you have in mind something really unique and special for an upcoming journey. Luxury trains are iconic historic trains in many cases, like the famous Orient Express. Amazing onboard service with very high staff to passenger ratios, wonderful cuisine. It really is like a Michelin restaurant on wheels when you travel on a luxury train like the Maharaja's Express, the Orient Express, or the Royal Scotsman. You've got a variety of sleeping accommodations to choose from on board, and lots of um, included experiences, off-train experiences when you're traveling through these wonderful destinations like Scotland or going across Europe. Now let's take a look at some of these top trips that are booking for us at the moment for 2023, starting with Italy and our grand Rome, Florence, and Venice trip, which takes in those three iconic Italian cities of Rome, Florence, and Venice, each with 2 nights accommodation and transportation between them by rail. Traveling by rail through Italy is so convenient, fast, seamless, and easy. Between Rome and Florence is about 2 hours, and 2 again between Florence and Venice. The trains um, go from the city center and they deposit you in the city center. So you can hit the ground running. You leave in the morning, arrive before lunch the same day, and you have that whole afternoon to begin exploring your destination. In Rome, you have a lot of free time to explore, and this is the case with all of our programs at Railbookers. We give you time to go to the Trevi Fountain, throw that coin across your left shoulder into the fountain to ensure, as legend has it, your return to Rome, but also lots of included experiences. You skip the line small group tour at the Vatican museums, the Colosseum tour, the same again in Florence and Venice. Lots of free time, but included sightseeing as well. Our hotel flexibility gives you the opportunity to upgrade in each of your cities to a classic, iconic 5-star property like in Rome. Why not try out the Anantara Palazzo Naida, converted palazzo, and just the perfect address for your magical 2 days in Rome. In Florence, again, you'll have your guided visits inside the Accademia Museum to see the famous David. In Venice, you'll have the gondola ride included, as well as a small group tour of the Doge's Palace and the Golden Basilica. Switzerland is our most popular destination at Railbookers because of the incredible selection of rail journeys across the country. You have available iconic sightseeing trains like the Glacier and Bernina Express, as well as other very scenic train routes like the Gotthard Express and the Golden Pass that connect the main cities, towns, and alpine resorts throughout Switzerland. Our journeys through Switzerland normally start in Zurich or Basel. If you're doing a river cruise on the Rhine, disembarking in Basel, the perfect opportunity to connect seamlessly with the rail journey through the Swiss Alps. Throughout these itineraries, you'll find included wonderful, charming alpine towns and villages like Grindelwald at the base of the Jungfrau Mountain, and that'll be your departure point for an incredible day trip to the top of Europe, the highest rail station in all of Europe, traveling up on the cog train to the summit of the Jungfrau. You'll also have the opportunity to travel by ferry on one of the traditional Swiss steam ferries and experience an overnight in the heart of the Swiss Riviera in Montreux. Zermatt is your picture-perfect, charming Swiss alpine town. It happens to be in the shadow of the Matterhorn, and there you'll enjoy a cog train journey to the top of the Gornergrat, which is the neighboring peak to the Matterhorn, and you have those wonderful views of the Matterhorn throughout that journey. Also included as part of your journey on the Glacier Express, Switzerland's famous, iconic, scenic sightseeing train through the Alps, is an overnight in Chur, an historic, one of the oldest villages in the Swiss Alps. We'll travel down to Lugano on the Swiss-Italian border, which has a wonderful combination of Swiss and Italian culture, language, and cuisine. You'll have an overnight traveling on the Gotthard Express train into Lucerne, and you'll have an overnight in Lucerne to take in the charm and the attractions of this beautiful Swiss town on the shores of Lake Lucerne. Paris and the Normandy beaches is a very popular trip for us at Railbookers, an opportunity to have some time in Paris, but also explore those historic sites and attractions in the Normandy beaches, commemorating the Allied victories during World War II. This itinerary starts with those 2 nights in Paris, where you'll have included sightseeing, going to the Louvre, to the top of the Eiffel Tower. You then travel on the high-speed TGV train from Paris up to Bayeux, which would be your base for exploring the Normandy beaches. Bayeux, you also get to see the famous Bayeux Tapestry, which is an amazing included attraction. And then you'll have those guided visits to Omaha Beach and the other places of historic interest along the Normandy beaches. The imperial cities of Eastern Europe, perennially popular, and particularly so this year for 2023, Prague, Vienna, and Budapest. This is a great option for anybody who's doing a river cruise on the Danube, disembarking in Budapest to connect seamlessly with that rail journey, taking in these highlight cities of Eastern Europe. Again, as with all our programs, you have your hotel accommodation where you can choose between 3, 4, and 5 star. You have your included sightseeing in these amazing cities, and the incredibly fast, convenient, easy rail connections between them, going city center to city center. In Prague, you'll have time to check out the local street food, stroll and get the ambiance of this magnificent city, but also you'll have guided a walking tour of the city and entrance to attractions like the Prague Castle. In Vienna as well, chance to see Schönbrunn Palace, where you'll have a guided visit, as well as time to enjoy a Sachertorte and a traditional coffee in one of the Viennese coffee houses. Alaska is one of our very popular destinations as well at Railbookers. We operate throughout Canada, Alaska, and Europe, as well as other destinations into Australia, South Africa, India, everywhere that you have unique train experiences. But Alaska has emerged as particularly popular for rail journeys, as people have come to realize that you can really explore the authentic Alaska traveling inland by rail, all the way from Seward on the south coast up to Denali National Park and even further into Fairbanks. We've got lots of different itineraries to choose from, exploring Alaska by rail, the most popular of which is our 9-day Alaska adventure with Alaska Railroad, which starts in Anchorage, great city in its own right, the gateway to the north. You're traveling throughout the state, which is America's largest, by the way, fully 1/5 the size of the entire lower 48 U.S. states. An amazingly vast and magnificent, largely unspoilt wilderness up in Alaska, and you're traveling through the state by train, which is such a great way to see the scenery. There are two classes of service on board: adventure class, which is the economy, and gold star, which is the first class. And throughout, whichever you're in, you have access to the glass domed observation car, which is the perfect vantage point to see the glaciers and the mountains and the lakes. The journey starts with a trip by rail down from Anchorage to Seward. You'll have an included half-day cruise through Kenai Fjords National Park to see that magnificent scenery, as well as the marine wildlife, the sea lions, whales, and the marine Big Five, as they're known in Alaska. There you see the Gold Star carriage. This is a double-decker carriage in first class on Alaska Railroad, where you have the seats up top under a glass dome panoramic window and a restaurant car down below where the included meals are served. You also have two included alcoholic beverages when you're traveling in first class. Among the destinations on the Alaska Railroad route is Talkeetna as well. This is the gateway to Denali National Park and a wonderful destination to experience those wilderness adventures in Alaska. You can do a jet boat safari on the river. You can do zip lining, and you can even arrange dog sledding or a private guided fishing excursion, traveling by a float plane up to a remote lake. So really lots of typical, authentic experiences that we can build in to your trip when you're traveling with Railbookers through Alaska. You have commentary provided by very knowledgeable and well-trained onboard staff when you're in first class, the Gold Star on Alaska Railroad as well. The highlight will be Denali National Park. There's an included full-day excursion throughout the park with Railbookers, going to all the best-known scenic overlooks with an included lunch as you're out in the park all day from morning to evening with that excursion. And there you see the restaurant section of the double-decker Gold Star rail car with Alaska Railroad. Journey terminates in Anchorage, so you can fly in and out from Anchorage, making it a really seamless vacation experience. I would encourage everybody to check out our digital brochures, which are easily accessible from our website, giving you lots of information and comprehensive compilation of our top selling, most popular itineraries. Thank you so much for signing in today and for joining us for today's webinar. I hope you found this to be useful and informative for your travel planning. If you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to call us or have your travel agent do so on your behalf. The toll-free number on the screen. Thanks again. Hope to see you on a future webinar, and bye for now.